see either of those characters. I feel like Cloud is probably the most likely pick here. We could also see the Zero Suit. We've seen him just kind of circle camp Steve players with Zero Suit and then take as many opportunities as he can to get early stocks. And it is going to be the Zero Suit, so certainly not doing Sheik in this matchup. That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, you just don't want to give your opponent that many opportunities to scrap against you when Steve not only has those similar length stage controlling combos, but just does so much more damage.
Yeah, exactly. Just everything about that matchup is not going to go well unless you are absolutely perfect. And Zero Suit's certainly a precise character as well, but has much more of an ability to camp without letting Steve get free resources, as well as to get some early kills when the situation arises.
And now just looking for the pressure. I like the falling up airs. That's more of a newer age ZSS equation. Unfortunately, that Nair, right, getting nerfed a little while ago, not as safe on shield as it once was, going to give Just Blue the opportunity to get back and in a full scrap situation. And ZSS still outranges Steve, but Steve has a disjoint, which means the trades are going to favor him. Not going to matter, though, because Sharp willing to full commit with that aggression, giving you no room to breathe. As a player, not just his character choice, but as a player, is so capable of smothering Steve and limiting those resources in the way you have to excel at this matchup.
Oh, and that was such a smart trap there as well, as Sharp was able to force Just Blue to get up in a situation where he had to hold shield. He had to block his own TNT that was about to go off, and Sharp gets a free grab, really extending this pressure situation. Sharp doing such a good job taking what could be a 2-stock lead here, and the up B will kill. So Sharp at 3 stocks to 1.
And with very little time left for Just Blue in this game, potentially he needs to find a way to get something started. I like that stall there. You saw him intentionally using the anvil without the iron to just limit his momentum, reset, keep ZSS guessing, hard to pin down. But he's not able to set up these walls because of how flexible, right? ZSS can tech chase you left to right, but also with that up air, so capable of juggling you. A wall's not going to help unless you build that inverted L, get the ceiling to boot, and so far Just Blue hasn't had time to even set it up.
Yeah, and that's really what ZSS excels at. You know, she can camp when it's convenient, she can be in your face when it's convenient, and Sharp does a great job of hovering around that mid-range where it's scary to press a button because ZSS can jump back and whiff punish you, but it's also scary to start mining because ZSS can jump forward and hit you, as that empowered minecart is going to kill around 80%, and all of a sudden Just Blue's back in this game.
I love the parry though, right? Just Blue is playing this patient, but Sharp, again, it's that smothering. It's keeping in that mid-range, right at the end range of where ZSS can burst, keeping you guessing on whether you're going to commit or not. So if you commit to mining, he can jump in, but otherwise, he's content to just let you waste your time, waste your durability, waste your resources trying to find a counter, and then smother you every single time, right? You mine one resource, he's okay with that because he's going to make you expend 3 to get out of the situation. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and Sharp locked it down.
Sharp somehow finds that F smash, partial charge on it as well to make sure he secures that first game. And yeah, so their set record all time is 6-4 in Sharp's favor. Just Blue has beaten him. The set count goes slightly in Sharp's favor, and that's an incredible whiff punish with Zero Suit F smash to fix a situation that was really going badly. I mean, Sharp was in such firm control of most of that game. All of a sudden, Just Blue started to really bring it back towards the end.
And I just want to say, as we get into game 2, I think these two competitors, win or lose, have won the competition jointly for best hair in the venue today.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, these two absolutely rocking it always. Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I don't think it's a great Steve stage, but I also think it's not a good Zero Suit stage. Zero Suit players typically ban this stage. I'm actually very curious what Sharp would have banned.
I think I like it if you're ZSS because it's so hard for Steve to pin you down on this large open space, right? She can flip kick away and move very freely here. And while you don't get the ladders, because it's all iron and stone, you mine slower. It's not as much about having stronger resources, because ZSS is just going to jump around them. Yeah. It's that you have less. It's that you get more iron, but it takes longer, which means a character who's going to be in your face, a player who's going to be in your face, gives you less resources overall, and we're seeing that here, right? Just Blue's mined just as much as he did last game, but has less iron to work.
Right, and this is off to a similar start. We saw Sharp in control a lot of that game 1. Just Blue did bring it almost all the way back, but Sharp was able to close it out. And jumping in on the TNT, and Sharp is just not afraid. He understands, as he uses the iframes of flip jump to go through that anvil, he understands what he can and can't get away with in this matchup. He's so specific about where he spaces himself, where he puts his hitboxes to get around things like TNT, anvil, etc. And just find these little tiny holes in Steve's game plan.
Yeah, his movement's been excellent. The push of the plasma with into the oh my god, into the pressure plate, which starts to set off TNT, but then the plasma with hitting Steve keeps its hitbox active, hitting the TNT, and because it has the plasma property, it detonates TNT as well. So that was like doubly that was crazy.
There's a lot going on there. Sharp doing a great job to secure the first stock off of Steve this game.
Shout out CBK for being online playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh, and catches the air dodge at the end of that paralyzer. Not going to take the stock, but this is a rough spot. Just goes for the up air. Knew he couldn't have gotten a back air in that situation.
You up air if they DI it wrong. Maybe they get stage spiked or they get put in an awkward situation. Maybe you catch them with a flip kick afterwards.
In worst case, you always take the damage. You know, you're not going to get punished for it yourself.
Because you have flip kick, you got to still reset and continue the advantage state. Something which Sharp still has not given up. Finds himself back at the ledge. The beautiful tech from Dustblue to hold on for another moment. And now it's the Steve show.
Interesting. It was sideways into that ceiling. It was almost like an opposite tech angle on that.
But it was also, he was already out of hit stun when he pecked.
Well, it looked like he had started to air dodge up into it. I'm not really sure. That was a weird animation.
It was very strange.
But this character breaks some rules sometimes.
Yeah. One of these characters is not functional. One of these characters breaks all the rules of what's functional. So it makes sense we see a couple weird interactions.
Happen in this set.
Yeah, maybe the game will crash. Who knows?
Is this going to be not quite a stock, but certainly a good situation for Just Blue, but just not able to cover the flip jump, but parries the Zair and finds that F smash. So Just Blue back in this, still at a pretty significant percent deficit.
Yeah, using that tower shield and just shoving that whip out of the way. Not a whole lot of substance or weight behind it, so you can't really contest. You might want to use your minecart more for those or some other such, right? Not much to swing with. Now the Zair just finding the pressure. I love the fastball grab mix-up too. We haven't seen a lot of grabs from Sharp. It's something he leans on a lot less than Mars. He leans less on those tech chase F-tilts and a lot less on grab mix-ups. And it's something that's really benefited Just Blue so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are seeing Just Blue, both games so far, he's gone way behind and started to come back. Oh, a little too hard for that F-smash. And Sharp will secure it and go up 2-0. Just Blue he just has to get off to a better start, I think is the biggest thing. He's getting overwhelmed trying to mine for resources early on. We're seeing Sharp just struggle Just Blue rather struggle to keep Sharp away in the early going. And then we get towards the end of the game, Just Blue's starting to figure things out every time, especially as he gets more and more resources.
But it's once again, right, they're them taking longer than the iron rate here. He's getting the mine, but because of he mines slower, Sharp can give him that time, and he still gets less resources. He still has to push them to get out of dodge. So in situations where on a stage with faster mining, he might be net even or net positive. He's actually net negative, and Sharp is forcing him to do it over and over. What's funny is we mentioned him not going for grab very much, and then since then he's grabbed like 8 times.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds.
And we do see an interesting TNT play off the start again. Doesn't really go in either player's favor, but we do see the return to FD. Again, I don't mind that it's curious from the materials perspective. I think just from the raw stage perspective, it is a good anti-ZSS stage for just playing the game. But it hasn't made a huge difference so far as like the way they're actually playing neutral.
And I think for a character like Steve too, it's not even about, oh, is it a good anti this character stage? It's a what is good for me stage, and Just Blue kind of opting to prioritize his opponent here might be what is really hurting him, because it's not just the opponent but the player, and the way Sharp plays DSS is very aggressive, right? He's not playing this mid-range poke, hit and run playstyle that you might expect. He is scrapping, he is trying to smother you. Just Blue finally gets the opportunity, and for the first time all set, I think, has a diamond online.
Yeah, and it's also the first time he's had a stock lead in this set. Doing a really good job here on this stage, and this is more of what he wants from FD. He wants to keep Zero Suit from having an extended combo game, really force her to come in, approach through the air, not deal with any platforms.
I love that setup, even when in disadvantage, right? Able to use the TNT to not get pressured, still get back to stage. It's like, okay, either I'm going to hit you and kill you here, or I'm going to pressure you, get put in disadvantage, and not care.
That was such a smart play from both characters there. We saw Just Blue bait out the up B by dashing away, but Sharp also fade back to the anvil that had been put down for that purpose.
He got buried on the TNT. We've seen some weird block interactions today, winners, and that is going to be another one to add to the equation. The big FD blast zone, so keeping you alive off that up throw, and the paralyzer fallout. Hey, Mars, I know you're in the crowd. You know what to say.
Missed the opportunity. That could have been a free punish there on the whiff grab. And instead, we will see Sharp end up taking the stock, but does still trail by 120%. This is a significant deficit for Sharp. Really going to need either an early stock or just a stock where he's playing perfectly and avoiding all of these diamond hitboxes.
Yeah, as you mentioned, diamond being online is huge. It means just about anything from Steve is gonna kill.
Yeah, border across stage, still sending him off stage.
Letting
Back air will kill basically anywhere at this point.
on a smaller stage, right? There's more normal side blaster, and that would have been all she wrote. But at 150, Zia is somehow managing to hold on, and Sharp has found a lot of damage real quick. Now that Just Blue's resources are low, no iron online, he is forced to use this diamond, getting put off stage in the corner. There's a bad situation. He's going to lose the edge guard. Got nothing off of it, Winters. That was the best case scenario, and Sharp is looking to close this one out. He wants that rematch with the homie.
Absolutely. Sharp did such a smart play, a series of smart plays there to set up that edge guard, go low and cut off all possible options. He'd shown that he could punish the early minecart, goes low to bait out the low up B and punishes that as well. And now, after a rough start to this game, after some great starts earlier, Sharp is the one who's brought it back, and he's got himself a stock lead in game 3.
Looking for that landing up air, back air as well. Didn't find his mark, but utilizing the options to their fullest. There's the ceiling we were talking about before, which can be so integral to the matchup. And it forced the ESS to pick a weird option to break the grounded blocks. Just Blue was able to anticipate it because that's when Steve's find those punishes on you breaking block, it's because they're guessing. They have
to. And he does get quite a bit of damage back, getting back into the game, got 48% off that initial combo. This is a rough spot for Just Blue though. Stuck in the corner, can't spot dodge that down smash. Sharp holding it for too long, and that will do it. So Just Blue puts up a good fight, goes on a great run today, and of course will qualify for NESI, but his run will end at 3rd place, and we will see the run back of Marge versus Sharp in
What's
Grand.
important to point out too, right? 6 of the top 8 seeds of this event were already qualified for NESI.
Yes.
There were 7 qualified players here today, which I think is almost all of them. It's like Light wasn't qualified. Yeah, I think Light wasn't qualified, or Light wasn't here, and then other than that, I think almost everybody was.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
And that's insane, right?
And
that's kind of insane.
Just Blue not only outlasting all of the other non-qualified players to this point, but getting 3rd and outlasting quite a few of the qualified ones as well. So a really great run from him, and of course the clutch win over Brujo to get there in the first place. And yeah, he goes 3rd, and we're down to our top 2.
There are a couple